Hey everybody, Darth Bryboy here. I thought I would do a topic that's not controversial at all. Well, it shouldn't be controversial in a enlightened and intelligent society, but it is. There's nothing that really needs to be said other than the concept of it is beyond fucking stupid. Especially the types of books that are being banned, mainly having to do with LGBTQ people and people of color. Now, the main arguments that come from people who want to ban LGBTQ books specifically is a fear of sexual indoctrination or some type of fear of pornography being given to young children. First of all, if you've read any book that involves the subject of LGBTQ within children's literature or within the context of a school setting, and I'm talking about young kids specifically. The other type of shit, I think I can maybe see being talked about in middle school or high school, which would be more of the quote-unquote sexual or romantic type of stuff, and I'm talking late middle school and early to late high school in this context. However, when it comes to children's books that are targeted to very young children, the subject matter is going to just be this: the normalization of gay relationships so that children who do not have a mother and a father, but probably a mother and a mother, or a father and a father, can feel like they are equal and part of the same society as their peers who might have straight parents. There's nothing wrong with that in any way, shape, or form. Normalizing that LGBTQ people exist in modern society is a great thing. Normalizing that to children is important. Normalizing that it is okay to love who you want to love as long as you are legal adults. It's a perfectly fine thing for children to learn at an early age. For them to process, oh, people will change their gender. Okay, whatever. People are attracted to the same sex. That's fine. People can love who they love and not feel alienated by it or ostracized for doing it. Teaching that tolerance and love is universal to children is an important thing. Children's minds are malleable and extremely precious, and they are more open-minded than any adult because they haven't experienced the fucked up parts of the world. But it is important within the education system for them to learn concepts that might be unnerving or disturbing so that they can learn to fight against these intolerances. And when it comes to banning books that involve black people because a few white assholes are scared that, oh, well, they might feel ashamed of being white. What book is telling you that? When you learn about the atrocities that the United States did to the Native Americans, to black people, brown people, and many other peoples of color, you learn that, hey, that's not right. But you also see that we have hopefully progressed past that in some form, but we have a long way to go. The great American story is that the United States is a work in progress, and it's a work in progress constantly. Should it have been a work in progress? No. Should society in some level have gotten the idea that, hey, this person is a different skin color, that color is irrelevant. They are my equal, because they are a flesh and blood human being. As long as they're willing to treat me with empathy and respect, that's all that matters. But of course, these assholes don't want the educated child. They don't want a child who thinks critically about race, about culture, about sexual orientation. And keep in mind, you do not have to teach about sexual orientation in the context of going into what sex is. You don't even have to use the word sex in that way to describe what this is. This is how you do it. Oh, a mommy and a mommy, that's fine. A daddy and a daddy, that's fine too. A mother and a father, that's fine. If you live in a single parent household, that's okay too. Normalizing our differences is important to give children a safe place to grow up. That is the purpose of school. It is one, to teach you as a child that you're not the center of the universe. And two, it's supposed to teach you that there are differences in the world. But just because there are different looking people in the world, different ways people live in the world, that doesn't mean they do not deserve your respect, your tolerance, your love, or your empathy. Now, what these Republicans are doing is banning knowledge, is banning new ideas being talked about or discussed in schools. Now, I find that repulsive. I find that immoral. I find that to be against the very concept of freedom of speech. If you believe in freedom of speech, you will not support a book ban on anything, no matter what the context is. I'll give you an example. In my middle school, they had a copy of Mein Kampf. And the reason they had that book in there was because we were being taught about the Holocaust. And if you wanted to know what this asshole said and what his plans were, there it was, in his own words. You could check it out, read it, be absolutely disgusted by the ideology being presented, and you would become a better and smarter person for knowing what these ideas were, why these ideas were fucked up, and how to counter those ideas. That is the purpose of education, to make you aware that there are bad things in the world that must be challenged, that must be put in check, like racism, like fascism, like xenophobia, like bigotry in general. That is the point of education. And for the state especially to try to restrict that is disgusting. But that's what groups like Moms for Liberty want to do. That's what these book banning assholes want to do. They want to keep the marginalized continually marginalized. They don't want those ideas to be taught to children because they're afraid of the status quo being challenged. And that is what we call cowards in the adult world. Those who want to ban books are spineless, fascist, authoritarian cowards. And if they are proposing book bans, they have no place being in the education system whatsoever. If you're in the education system, you will support the concept of knowledge being taught to children that will benefit their lives in the long run. That is what education is. That's what it means when you give a shit about education. And to those who would undermine that, you disgust me. And you disgust millions of others with your intolerance and with your bigotry. With that in mind, live long and prosper. Thank you for watching this video. Consider giving this video a like and subscribing for more content like this.